Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live show. I forgot words. Welcome to the second discussion for the CliMates Bookclub. Um, Let me know if you can hear me and see me well. If you can hear the noise from the window is a bit open. So if you can hear the noise, let me know. I can go close it. Um, I hope the light is okay. But yeah, welcome. Today we are going to be discussing the second book for our CliMates Book Club, and the book is Migrations by Charlotte McConaghy, which is climate fiction. And I mean, you probably read it, so um, I don't need to explain to you exactly what it is, but it is a climate fiction set in the near future. And yeah, we're going to be discussing this today. So, hello. Hi, Jess. Welcome. How are you? Noise is fine and you are lovely and audible. Very nice. Good. Good to hear. I might have to do something about the light. It's brighter than it actually is in reality. Oh well. But yeah, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Happy to have you here. And yeah, I actually finished this book just 15 minutes ago. Yeah, I was like 15-20 minutes ago. So timing. Um, Geez, is it just me? I think so. I think Josephine said she can stop by, but I don't think she read the book. She just said she was intrigued by the book and she might come and say hi and listen, but I don't think she read it. So I think it's only the two of us for now. But it's fine. It's fine. We don't have to go into like too much detail like we did with the previous book, but we'll see how it goes. Um, yeah. Did you cry at the end? I definitely didn't. I I didn't. I mean, you can see I didn't. I finished it 20 minutes ago. But towards the end, I was definitely needed to breathe through it. Um, it was heavier than I expected. It turned out to be a little different than I expected, the ending, or the entire point of the book. Not that I didn't like it, but it was a little different from what I expected. And I try to, I look like I have a blue eye, black eye. Better? Maybe a little bit. Um, so I did not actually cry, but I did have to take a little break and breathe and try not to spiral into anxiety because it was heavy in the end for sure. So yeah. Yeah, I listened to the audio and I'm terrible with names, so I know Franny. Yeah, so we've got Franny. I don't know how much is spoilers too, though. But we've got Franny. The husband was Niall. Niall. Niall, I think. Um, and then we have the crew. There was Ennis, Leah, Basil, um, they, May, I don't know those names, and Sam. Those were like the key characters, I think. When the turns showed up, yeah, tears were shed. Yeah, I definitely understand that. I kind of didn't know what to expect, and I was a lot. Yeah, yeah, I was like Niall Horan, Niall something. I don't know who Horan is, but that's how it's spelled. Yes. Um. Yeah. So it was definitely not what I expected. Somewhat, yes. Um, but it was a lot more of everything, kind of. It was much heavier story than I expected. It was a lot of environmental stuff. I thought that would be like, yes, the point of the book, but at the same time a bit more subtle. I thought the plot and the main story would take over a bit more, um, which at the end of the book it did, but not in a way that I expected it to be. But yeah, should we? How should we do this? Should we run it through Copile? Should we go through the uh, Copile sections? Because I haven't had time to do that yet, so I don't know what it's gonna be. But I think we can try that, and that will be our guide. Um, and then I have, yeah, how much I tabbed it. I have some tabs. Yeah, the writing was absolutely gorgeous, especially the first half of the book. In the second half, I felt like the when the plot took over, kind of. So we got more of the plot, more of the action. So it felt like the beautiful writing took a little bit of a backseat, and we didn't have as much beautiful sentences and descriptions in the second half as we did in the first. But I absolutely loved the first half for it because it felt so effortless. I didn't need to reread the sentences twice to know what she was going to say. She was trying to say, what the descriptions were, and it was just beautiful. I have like underlined sentences on pretty much every page. Like, it's insane. So beautiful. Um, I like all the climate stuff. I've read some stuff that takes place after a disaster, and I find I want to know more about the disaster. Yeah, I. This one is more of a just like slow burn, right? Like there wasn't really a disaster. It's just slow progress of what's been happening, and um, near future of what might actually happen. It's not necessarily a disaster, I think, but yeah, I understand that. I'm not a copal human, so you're on your own there. Okay, all right. You're freezing. Oh no, is it me? Ooh, that could be me. That could be me. Okay, it's better. Um, Let me try something then. If I'm freezing, I don't want to be freezing. I thought if I was freezing because of the book, but no, not because of the book. I have tea here. Maybe this will help a little bit. I don't know. Let me know if you can hear me and see me better now. If I'm still freezing or if it's better. Like, I didn't really change anything, but sometimes the Wi-Fi and the internet are a little bit moody. All right. I hope it's fine. Let me maybe check also on the phone. Yeah. Um, I think it's fine now. It looks fine. I think it's okay then, technology. Yeah. Let me know if it starts freezing again. I will try to fix it somehow, but I hope it's good now. But I think we can take the copile as a guide, um, and go through the categories. So first we will talk about the characters. What did we think about the characters? For me, um, it was. Would you say it's character-driven book? I would say that the entire point of the book was to study Franny's character. I would say it's a heavily character-driven book. There is some plot, but and there is some action a little bit, like a bit tense and stuff. But overall, it's basically just a deep dive into her life and her past. So I would say it's very heavily character-driven book. I think her character was amazing, amazingly written. She was wild. she um, she was aware of her faults, and she was trying to fix them, but at the same time she knew she just couldn't. um, I think Franny character was great. Like, I could exactly imagine her and how flawed she was, and yeah, her character was amazing, I think. Then we had the husband, who I wish we could have gotten a little bit more of. I felt like, yeah, we could have gotten a bit more of him. But at the same time, he was very um, like specific. I loved how he respected her and loved her despite everything. I think that some decisions they made were very, very fast, but and very like sudden, spontaneous, maybe a bit too much for my liking, but it was fun. Like, they found each other. But the other characters, the characters on the boat, I love that it had this family, like found family vibe, but I often couldn't tell who was who on the boat. I could only the only ones I could take like tell apart was Ennis, the captain, and Leia, because she was the only woman. And the other guys, how many of them was there? Was Anik, Sam, they, and Mel, or what were the names? So four other men, and those I couldn't really tell apart from each other that much. Um, so that could have had a bit more work on it, on like separating them further. Um, like, at the end of the day, I kind of know who is who, but not 100%. So yeah, I loved Franny. She was such a freaking disaster human. Yep, definitely felt character driven to me too. Yeah, um, she definitely disaster human. Um, she was very, yeah. I made a note for myself that it's very depressive, because she had this very depressive um, vibe, where she was talking about death, and yeah, like very badly of herself. Very relatable, I have to say. Unfortunately, very relatable. Um, so it was, I loved it. There are so many things I could relate to. I'm not as wild as her, obviously, but some things I definitely could relate. Absolutely. So loved her too, which I usually don't enjoy, but I really love this. Yeah, exactly. But I do. You mean the character driven? Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you loved it. I generally enjoy character driven books. I need great characters to care about the book. The plot can be zero as long as you give me amazing characters. Um, so yeah, I am character driven, so this was perfect for me. Um, I like the little reveals through along the way. So when we got to big reveals, it was like, oh god, I know what she did. Yeah, exactly. I loved it too. Like, we got a little like teasers, a little bit at a time. To me, like, at one point, the writing in this book, I have to say, writing in this book made me feel, or made me think in such artistic way. I had so many ideas in my head to describe the book. It felt like peeling an onion, like a layer after layer after layer, and one here, one there, and it was just like you are discovering slowly everything that's happening, and I loved it. I loved it too, how it was written. I was immediately feeling, oh, hell no, to when she was sitting in his class. But I guess it wasn't so bad since she wasn't actually his student. Uh, yeah, I don't really. I am not so strict with that as long as she's adult, which she is. She was 22. So I'm not that strict. I mean, of course, I guess depends if she's 22 and he would be 52. That would be a little, wouldn't sit well with me. But she was 22, he was 32. I don't feel that's that bad in that particular scenario, of course. But to me, it was really bad. Like when she describes the first meeting of theirs, when she ran out of the lecture where they were talking about or showing the dead birds, and when he like grabbed her hand and forced her to touch the bird, that was so creepy to me, and I wouldn't ever want to talk to him again. So that was not relatable whatsoever. But yeah, the awful guy she kissed on the boat, the captain, and the roommate, those are the ones I remember. But which one was the guy that she kissed? Like, I don't know, was that Basil? Basil. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I actually didn't listen to the audiobook. I don't know which one she kissed. But the two guys, they and the yeah, there was the couple, right? The two guys were a couple. The Day and Mel. What was their names? I should have written it down. I always forget. And then the other two were Basil and Basil. I don't know how to pronounce it. And Anik. But I feel like Anik is very old, so it was probably Basil, and that was the one who was really, yeah, as you say, the awful guy, the one who betrayed them, the one who was spreading that she slept with him. Yeah, that was awful, but I'm not sure if that was him. So that was a little bit. Yeah, I always relate to characters, people who are just flailing in life. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes, teasers. That's the word I was looking for. Yep. Yeah. I don't know how it came to me. Look at me go. The audiobook was exceptional too. The narrator seriously an Irish Australian hybrid accent, amazing. Which one was that? Because the one I listened to didn't seem to have any of kind of like special accent. I listened to the one on script narrated by Barry Kranick. Is that the same one? I listened to this one. I don't know. Can you? Hello. How can I? There you go. But I don't know. It didn't seem to me that she had any particular accent. So maybe it was. Oh, it was. Okay. I listened only to short bits of it. So maybe. Um, this one we did. Yeah, I don't know. I was a teacher, so it's more tricky for me because you. Yeah, yeah, okay. That makes sense. I was never a teacher. Um, though as a student, I didn't necessarily have a crush, but there is something about young, attractive teachers. I see that. I never acted on anything, obviously. I had always too much respect. I don't know if that was the only reason, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so to me that's not that awful. But I understand that we have different approach there. That's fine. That's okay. Was the one who got hurt was one of the guys in the couple? No, there was another guy. The one who got hurt was Sam, whose wife they stayed with. What was the wife's name? There was some strange name too of the wife, and they had 6 kids, 6 daughters, and they stayed with them for a couple days after they docked. So no, maybe I'm just good at picking out accents. Maybe. But strange is because I love Australian and Irish accent. So I'm surprised I didn't pick up on that because I love those accents. Like out of all of the accents that like English language has, those are my favorite ones. And I also like Scottish one. But Irish and Australian are my favorites. So I should have loved it, but I just didn't pick up on it. I mean, I definitely had a few students that I thought, wow, I would have been friends with this asshole when I was 13, but anything beyond that is just gross to me. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Yeah, I find it weird for I don't find it weird from the student point of view, but I find it weird from the teacher's point of view. Not in a like too cringe kind of way. Like I can see it, but I find it more way weirder. But yeah, she was not his actual student. She was just working there and just crashing his lectures. Right, and Franny was so cute with the kids when they visited family. Yeah, yeah, she was amazing. She saw her daughter in the youngest one, so that was a bit sad too. But yeah, she was great. Students having crushes is unavoidable, I guess, sometimes, but teachers acting on it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, because for students, especially I would say women and girls, because they have these role models, and sometimes, especially if you have like, if you struggle a bit in life, maybe you search for some kind of um, validation from teachers as well. There are some kind of role models, and when you are young, or that's how I interpret it. When you are young, when you're a teenager, you exchange um, validation from an adult with like affection, which are two completely different things. But as a teenager, it's hard to differentiate, I think. That's my experience anyway. I don't know if I'm now sharing too much information about myself, but no, it's fine. Um, yeah, I wanted to say one more thing. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say one more. Oh yeah, when we were saying the she was crushing the lectures, I absolutely loved how she told off the husband, yeah, the mother-in-law, the first time she met them. That was brilliant. I laughed so much, and I made such notes there, like "You go, girl." That was brilliant. I loved it. Um, oh, do you think the crows really left her gifts? I know crows can bond with specific humans, but I think someone said something toward the end that made it seem like she made it up. I think she could have made a lot of stuff up, honestly. Mm, I think she made a lot of stuff up. Like for years, she blocked from her brain that she found her mother dead. She blocked it out of her mind and she was searching for her mother. So I think there was a lot of things going on that we can't 100% believe or trust. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I think crows can bond with humans. I think it could have been a bit of her imagination that they were following her everywhere like a cloud, um, like a black shadow or like a black cloud, she said, and they were following her wherever she went. That I found hard to believe because the crowds also have their own lives, kind of thing. So I think she might have a bit exaggerated that a little bit. So yeah, I'm not sure, but I think that's what's like amazing about this book, that it was so beautiful, and the way she built her relationship to the nature and to life itself. And then even if you find out that maybe it wasn't true, it doesn't ruin anything. If anything, it just makes it more beautiful to me. I don't know. I find it fascinating. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, hey, praise validation from a teacher is fine, especially if kids don't get it at home. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly very much different from actual affection. And like when you're a teenager, you're searching for something like that, but you can't really differentiate between the two. So you might think it's love instead of just, an adult caring for you um, in a professional way. I don't know if that makes any sense. Or maybe I'm just completely making stuff up. I'm no psychologist, so I don't know. Yes, the mother in law was a real piece of work. Yeah, but then I didn't know how to feel about her. She was really mean in the beginning, but okay, she's watching out for her son. But she could have been more subtle about it, as he said. But then she seemed really nice about it when she released her birds. When Franny released the mother-in-law birds, she seemed really cool about it. and then the next sentence she just snapped at her right away again. So it was very confusing about like how does she feel about her. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it seemed like she accepted that she was the wife of her son. But yeah. Oh my god, yes, I forget what point I realized what she meant by her mother left. Maybe right when her husband confronted her about it. Yeah, yeah. Um, she she was talking about that her mother left her, and that when she came back, she was not there, which technically is true. Theoretically is true. Technically is not. Technically, she found her hanged herself. Um, there is just so many things to this book. It's so short, but so many things to it. Like, for example, when she dived into, or like that one paragraph, I don't know if I marked it. Maybe I did, I don't remember. But the one where she's explaining how everybody in her family either died by strangling or drowning or killed someone by strangling or drowning or whatnot. And I found it so fascinating to point that out, and how she's always drawn to the sea. It was just amazing. I don't know. But yeah, it took her a while when the husband confronted her. Then she realized that, oh, actually, yeah, you're right. I did find her hanged. Yeah, it's strange how brain works. Yeah, I love her connection to nature, that she saw herself as a wild thing. Yeah, it was beautiful. Definitely felt like Franny showed up out of nowhere, married to her son, and Franny had to earn the mother in law's respect in a way. I think so, because, I mean, they just kind of kissed and, and got married the same night. Um, so it kind of makes sense that she would be protective of him, especially since they are rich. The parents are rich. So it makes sense that she would be protective of him. And she was so young as well. So kind of makes sense. But she didn't have to be so mean, but makes sense. So much trauma in so few pages. Yes. Yeah. So much. Uh, Speaking of, what did you think of the ending when she. Should we talk about it now or later? I feel like that's. I mean, the entire book is character driven, so we could talk about the entire book on the character section alone because it was only about the character. Um, but what about the when in the end she decided to not drown herself? Um, should I write in the comments that like spoilers? Um, I'm gonna write that if anybody pops in, so they no wait spoilers for migrations. Can I? No, I need to go to. Okay, give me a second. I want to pin the comment to YouTube. There we go. Okay. Can you hear me still? Hopefully. Um, Moderator just asked. Yeah, but I see now it says 2 people, so I don't know if somebody else joined in. I don't know, but yeah, the ending when she decided not to drown herself, and while there are still birds, there is something to fight for. How do you feel about it? Like the entire book, we're building towards this moment when she will kill herself, when she finally finds the birds, to finish her own migration through the life, and then she decides not to go through with it, and then when her father is waiting for her. I still don't know how I feel about those 2 points, like if which way I was hoping it would go. I don't know. I'm always fascinated by liars because I'm a brutally honest human. Franny was willingly deluded by the lie she told herself, and it was just so interesting to me. Yeah, I mean, this is like a widely or acknowledged thing by psychologists and psychiatrists that when you go through some major trauma, your brain blocks it out. And that's also why many people don't remember their childhoods, because just their childhoods were not good, so the brain just blocks it out and completely erases the memories. And that could have happened easily with her because she found her mother dead. And what else happened? Is that all that happened? Then she went to Australia, where her grandmother didn't love her and killed her donkey and didn't say sorry or anything. Um, and then yeah, it just feels like she went through a lot. So her brain could have blocked the stuff out, and it wasn't necessarily because she lied to herself about it. It could just have been, you know, what do you say, survival mode kind of thing. But yeah, it's fascinating. I love to study those kind of things. The dad so good. Like she's finally willing to confront even more of her past. Yeah, like I don't know how I feel about it. Um, he came. Like usually I don't remember endings. I finished the book and I don't remember because I'm just so excited I'm finishing the book that I don't remember the ending anymore. So he just was waiting for her, and then he just asked her where to go. So they go. I understand they go to the MER, right? The MER. What was it called? The rescue station in Scotland. And he also had the bird tattooed, which is, yeah, the clues to what? To life. They are hidden everywhere. So it ends basically like her giving second chance, giving life second chance, um, which I guess is a message that there is always something to fight for, no matter what you've been through. But yeah, I need to think about that, how I feel about like it, because I kind of waited for it, that it would be kind of the epic finish of the book that she actually killed herself, and then there would be some kind of reveal like why actually, or something, I don't know. um but still, like how it actually ended was still pretty big deal. So I absolutely agree with that. Yes, deciding she wanted to live, such a big moment for her. Yes, it was. Yeah, that was amazing. I just loved how it all was written. It because there are these books, you read these books where it's like everything is just written so it fits the story, or like some points that will proceed the plot, and you can feel it exactly that this is what the author was trying to do. But in this book, every single word made sense and fit in everything. And I don't know, I just loved it so much. That's true too, like a coping mechanism. Yes. I wrote something in my useless review about how the theme of migrations and leaving returning was so well done, woven in nicely without being overdone. Yeah, it was. Like I don't know, it just, for me, like I'm not very artistic person, but this for me is a piece of art and I loved it. Like the way everything was connected to each other and referred to, and using one metaphor for completely different situation but coming a full circle, or it was amazing. I loved it. It seemed like a new journey for her, sort of being okay with what she might have in common with her father, and that maybe what she knows of him isn't the whole story either. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because she does say somewhere, like, it wasn't in the epilogue, I think, but um, yeah, somewhere it was like, I wonder if this is how he felt after he killed that man. So she definitely feels some connection to him. and feels like there is more to discover about him, or more to him than just that one thing. um, we never actually found out who he killed and why. Did No, we did. I don't remember, but that was explained actually. Yes, it felt like a real story that happened to a real person, normal ups and downs in life. Yes. Yeah. Also kind of loud when she stabbed that guy in his assaulting throat. Yes, that was brilliant. And then I hated the guy on the boat who was like, "Oh, women and feminism, they just misbehave and throw it on men and blame men for everything." Like, excuse me, sir, what did you just say? That was I was angry, angry. Um, okay, well, I think we could say for characters, I would say like 9.5. I'm gonna take 5 points away from that I can't tell apart the sailors. And I wanted more of the husband and dive into his story a bit more as well. But um, yeah, it was brilliantly done. Fucking seriously, so many men are like that though. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. That was horrible, seriously. Yeah, second category, we can move on to second category, I think, is atmosphere. What did we think of the atmosphere? Um, I think I wasn't in it 100% when it comes to atmosphere itself. Um, I think that might be the one thing that I was missing a little bit, was the like thorough descriptions. Like the descriptions overall were amazing, but for me, the part of the atmosphere is um, descriptions of the surroundings, kind of. So, for example, when she was in Greenland, there were not many descriptions of Greenland, and I didn't get the feeling of it. And I didn't know if it was summer, was it winter? And as they were traveling through the world, again, they were in the southern Argentina. Was it summer? Was it winter? Like, we don't really know. We find out a couple pages later, and later we found out it was January actually. So it was supposed to be summer season for them, right? Um, so those are the little things that I was missing just a little bit. But for example, when the birds landed on the ship the first time and the whole crew came together and was just sitting there staring at the birds, that was beautiful. So it was great. It just was missing something for me a little bit when it comes to the atmosphere. I wasn't fully in it. And anytime she was diving into the water, um, she was always saying how cold it is. But I was like, yeah, so it's cold, so what? Kind of thing. So um, that, I think for me, there was something missing. And I don't know what. I don't know what, honestly, but a little bit. Atmosphere was great for me. Um, and in the flashbacks, I definitely felt cold and bleak on the boat, but I don't love stories at sea usually. Okay, I usually love sea stories, so maybe that's why I'm like I was a bit. I wanted a bit more. Um, yeah, I had no idea where they sailed, just what the temperature was like. Yeah. So that, I think, stole a little bit from the atmosphere for me, that we were not always clear on, like, we knew it was always cold, uh, and that's understandable. I mean, come on, but I just wanted a bit more of that, I think, and I don't know what to point it towards, like why I saw issue with that, but yeah, the one time when she jumped into rescue Ennis was good, I think. I can't really swim and I'm claustrophobic, and I felt that one part. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that one was great. Like, the beginning was amazing. And how she dived for him, and then how she was freezing outside. And then I didn't get the feeling that she was doing this all the time, because she was supposed to be doing this every single day, right? Dive into cold water. And from that, it kind of felt like it wasn't everyday occurrence for her, kind of thing. So there, the atmosphere probably could have been a bit better, or was a bit better than the rest, because it was much more fleshed out that she is freezing and it was dangerous. While for the rest of the book, it was just like, yeah, I'm doing this reckless thing, and if I die, oh well, I die. So I mean, that was just showing to the character of her, but it took a little bit from the atmosphere. I don't know if that makes sense, any sense, but all the reminders of like, yep, the last crow died, always really hit for me. I don't know if that's atmosphere or world building though. I think that would be atmosphere. I would put it in atmosphere, but I mean, up to you which one you would feel it's for. But I would say that's atmosphere, um, because it really sets up the atmosphere of the end of the world kind of thing. Wait, is the second one, is that me? No, sorry. Um, Now the lighting is all off because sunshine is here. Let me try this. Um, so yeah, those were definitely, or like the first time they said that the last wolf died in the captivity the other month, and I'm like, but they are not extinct. Like what? And then I was like, oh, it's in the future. Okay, it said in the future. So then when they were talking about, and that was definitely atmosphere, how they were talking about that there are no seagulls, there are no birds, and there is no fish. Well, today we still see a lot of wildlife, even though it's not nearly as much as it used to be like 30 years ago, but still a lot compared to what was in the book. So that would definitely count for atmosphere. Then that I agree. Maybe the difference was just that she did it to help someone else instead of just doing it for herself. The weight of someone else's life was on her, and she panicked a bit about it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And also when she saved the boys in the sea, in the boat, that as well. Yeah, then that's a good point. Definitely. Yeah, so I think I'll give atmosphere like 7.5. I think. Could have been a bit better, but it was good. 7.75, if that's a thing. Next one, we have writing. I can barely imagine there being no birds. Horrifying. Yes. Yeah. Like the other day, I was working at home and I just could hear the bird outside singing. I'm like, wait, I need to go open the window. I opened the window and I could, like, the full sound, not um, muted by the window. I opened the window so I can see the bird singing. It was so pretty, so beautiful. True, I forgot about the kids in their stupid boat. Yep. I didn't fully understand what happened there. There were some phrases that I just didn't understand, which goes to my lack of English, but I didn't fully understand what happened there. So, but yeah, kids almost died with her too. But there, I definitely agreed with her when she was talking about that. Um, she would rather try to save the kids and die with them rather than just stand on the shore and watch them die and be like, yeah, well, if I go and try to save them, it's dangerous, I could die. And then, well, if they do die, then you have to live with yourself knowing that you didn't do anything. Maybe you could have saved them. So that I could absolutely feel for her that, yeah, she almost died too, but she just had to do something. That was, I think, a good point there. Yes, we have lots of flowers and trees at my house, so we always have tons of wildlife. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Okay. Should we move on to writing? Oh, look at the sun. Uh, writing. So, um, as I said, I loved the writing. The writing was beautiful. Like, seriously, I list through. There is underlined sentences. Next page. Okay, no sentences here. Ooh, here I have something. Stalking much. Oh yeah, she was stalking him. And here, We have lots of underlined there. Next page. Ooh, nothing underlined. Here, there, there. Like always something. And yeah, the writing was absolutely beautiful. I think it went a little bit, don't want to say downhill, but a little bit on the back seat in the second half of the book when we started to have more things happening and not just descriptions and introductions of the characters. Um, then it felt like the writing went a little bit in the back for me. But overall, I think it was done brilliantly. Like the writing and how we peel the onion for it, and it has all these layers and the teasers, the flashbacks. Just loved how it was done. Um, wow, hello, metaphor for conservation. That's an excellent point. Wait, what did I say? What did I say? Just connected that when you said it. What did I say? I have a blank. I don't know what you mean. About not sitting back and watching the boys die when she could help. Yeah, yeah, that definitely metaphor for conservation. And I feel like there's so many places in the book, and I don't know if it was because I had the mindset of I need to, because for this book I'm like, or for the books that I read for the book club, I do annotate them and I go through them. Like I need to process every sentence and see what I would like to remember and what I would like to bring up. So I read them a bit differently than any leisure book I read. So maybe that's also why. But in here I just found so many things, so many little Easter eggs and metaphors for one thing, but truly describing another thing. And there was a lot about the, yeah, I think it was twice or three times mentioned in the book that uh yeah, when the birds landed on the ship and then finally they decided to leave after 2 days because the wind was fine and they rested and everything, so they could continue. And Franny was upset about it, that the birds are leaving, because obviously she was sad that she wouldn't see the birds anymore. um she was like, don't leave me, please don't leave me. But of course I understand, it's in your nature. And there was exactly again metaphor for Franny as well, that she has to live, it's in her nature, she is wild. And it's just like these interconnected metaphors and everything. So yeah. um how if you're able to do something to help, you should. Yes, yes, exactly, because if you don't, you will regret it. You will always wonder, what if I did do something. So yeah, definitely. Writing was like the themes for me, just well constructed but not overdone. Yeah, absolutely. I think I gave writing 10. Thank you very much. That doesn't happen often, but this one, yes, absolutely. um yes, poor Franny, everyone leaving her and her feeling like she has to do the leaving before people have a chance to leave her. Yes, absolutely. um yeah. And it feels like the whole book, like one thing was metaphor for the other thing and vice versa. Like when she was talking to the husband saying that I will leave you again, but I will come back, so don't leave because I will come back. And if you feel like you must leave, please find me first and tell me that. And that was exactly like the migration. So she is going to leave, but she is going to come back. and you just have to trust that they will come back, which is exactly the entire plot of the book, pretty much. Like, you are hoping that the birds will get to the destination, to where they started, or whatever, if you want to think about it that way, like they were coming back to Antarctica. This light is not good now. I need to move a bit. Okay, hopefully this is a bit better. But yeah, so the everything was metaphor for everything else. It was fascinating. Do you watch Stephen He? Stephen He? Emotional damage. Do I need it? No, I don't know. What does he do? Why is Stephen Hey? Is it Hey? Famous. Comedy sketch creator and actor with 18 million followers across 3 platforms. He is known for his sketches. Aha, okay, that's name. His meme, Emotional Damage. Okay. His sketch is parodying Asian parents, and his meme, Emotional Damage. Okay. I see. I didn't know that, but yeah, emotional damage. uh, he's hysterical. Now you know what to do after this life. Yep, yep. Um, I kept forgetting about the box tin. Whatever had his ashes. Such an amazing moment when I realized what the journey was for. Yeah, yeah. I don't know when I realized it. I think I realized it a bit earlier, a bit before she actually explicitly said it. Um, but it was like, she's not just following the birds. She's on one last trip with her husband, and it was so beautiful. I thought it was amazing. And then she went back to prison. Why not? Yeah, I don't know. It was amazing. Or maybe the excuse of the journey, because it was about so much more than his ashes. It was, yes. Um, yeah, there are so many things going on. I'm so happy I picked this book for the book club, because there is so many different things that happened, so many layers to it that we could talk about, and like some things I didn't even realize you are now saying that. And yeah, like now talking about it is just making it even bigger. It's amazing. um Love it. Okay, we jump to the next category after this. It was beautiful. I'm always wary of books people sell as being emotional and moving, but this one really was. Yeah, it was. And I don't think it was overdone either. It wasn't the kind of like, when you have a little life, I loved it, but I understand why people would think it's like emotional blackmail and what do they call it, torture porn. I absolutely understand why people call it that, but I still loved it. But this one, I think, was very balanced. Like, it was sad and emotional and lots of heavy topics, but or lots of trauma that she's gone through, that she's describing, but it was done in such an amazing way. I don't know, loved it. It was great. I'm so happy you picked it too. I never would have found it on my own, and it was such a great read. Oh, I'm glad. I'm so happy. Just want to say, Charlotte also wrote the book Once There Were Wolves, which I definitely want to read. I don't own it yet, but I will get it one day. And yeah, that is basically about that there are no more wolves in Yellowstone Park. And I think that, do they, like, there is this woman who's working on, like, what do I want to say? Bringing the wolves back into the park, and how it influences the entire ecosystem. I think that could be very fascinating as well. Oh yeah, people call that one trauma porn. Yeah, yeah. I loved it. Like I understand why people don't, but I think it's brilliant. And actually, many people don't know this. And again, this was maybe I heard it from one psychologist. I don't know if other psychologists agree with this person or what. But there was this one guy who said that A Little Life should be mandatory reading for all the psychologists working with trauma and depression, because it brilliantly portrays how um, damaging it can be, and why people have trouble searching for help when they are adults or when they go through trauma, and they don't search for help. They don't want anybody's help. They pretend like they're okay. And like this book perfectly portrays that and kind of explains it, and that every single psychologist should know about this, and that it's like a perfect portrayal. So I think people who call it trauma porn, um, I don't want to hear like judge anyone. Like I understand it's hard book to read, but I don't think they fully understand that. Which of course everybody has different experience with trauma and depression, if at all. But just overall, yeah. Anyway, move on. Let's go away from A Little Life. That's not what this is about. Okay, so prepare to cry if I read that one. Animals made me cry 100% more than humans. Yeah, definitely. Yes, yes. Okay. Plot. What did we think of the plot? I don't think there was any plot. Why is the sun so mean? It will set soon. So, it should set soon. Um, um, Definitely interesting to see how people process things differently, especially for me because I'm weird with emotions. That's a whole discussion too. Yeah, me too. Like I find it fascinating how everybody thinks of it differently, because I think A Little Life is so profound and extremely hard to read, but so important if you want to understand that in that situation. But of course, it's not just like light depression. This book goes through like horrible things. So yeah, we all process things differently, definitely. So I always find it sad when people trash the book and saying it's trauma porn. I'm happy for them that they don't understand, but I understood it on some level, not 100%, luckily, but pretty well. And I was like, I feel seen, and I'm so happy that people don't understand it. Some people, so in a way, it's good when they say it's just a torture porn, because they just have no idea. But yeah, I don't think it really needed an intense plot though, so I'm not sure how to rate that. And I think of myself as a more plot driven reader. Interesting. So it didn't really have intense plot, but you didn't mind. And you are a plot driven reader, all right. Mm. I'm character driven reader for sure. So I don't need a plot if I have good characters. So I don't really care that it didn't have much of a plot. Um, but I don't really know what the plot was. The plot was that she went through some horrible things and decided to go to Antarctica to do anything, even die if she has to go to Antarctica to follow the birds and bring her husband. That was the plot. And I think that's a beautiful plot. I think that's a beautiful message and metaphor, as we mentioned. So I could give it high score for plot. Yeah, exactly. Nice for them. But hey, how about learning something from it because it's outside your own experience? Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think they understand how real it is. I think they just think it's just emotional manipulation, and she just wants me to feel these horrible things and be so sad, while completely misunderstanding that that's actually how people do feel, and that actually does happen to people, and people go through those things. It's not like this never happened to anyone ever. Um, so it feels a little bit like denial, but if that's what makes them feel good, I'm not gonna judge them, because it is a tough book to get through. So I'm not gonna judge people on a little life at all, because that is a whole different story and that should not be taken lightly. But I agree with you. It wasn't about the plot, it was about these characters moving through the world. Yes. Also, I love a good flashback. So unpopular opinion though, I think. Um I like flashbacks when they are done right. Like they were done right here, I would say. Um Hands you the soul checker on it, dude. Not judge them. I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge. We all have our own stories. If that's not what they are comfortable with, that's okay. If their opinion is it's torture porn, that's fine. Um, I just think it's grossly misunderstood, which good for them, because people who understand that this is real have gone through some tough stuff in their head, in their heads and in their lives. So at the end of the day, I'm happy for them. It's just the book. Um, but yeah, for example, flashbacks. I don't know if you read in the Vanishing Half. I didn't like the flashbacks there, how they were done in the Vanishing Half, because you never knew when the flashback started and when the flashback ended. But here it was so clear. Like, I like flashbacks, but they need to be done in a good way. So that was good here, definitely. I agree. I think plot goes 8.5. Can't give it 10 as it didn't have such a great plot. I mean, as in big. Intrigue. Can we jump into the intrigue? Come on, set already. um, haven't read that one, but yeah, I agree that they have to be good. Yes, exactly. Like, it throws me so much out of the story when I need to figure out what I'm reading now. Am I reading from 10 years ago, or is this happening today? And I need to do the extra brain work to figure that out. I don't like it. It throws me out of the story so much. Like, give you more info about the character's past while also informing the present timeline. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Um, what were we saying? Intrigue. Intrigue. I had absolutely no problem with intrigue. I needed to know if the birds get to Antarctica, and if she will go, and if she dies trying, or if she uh, does complete her final migration, or what happens, what led her there. I think the intrigue was really good. The intrigue was definitely there, I think. So intrigue was high. I definitely started to suspect that Franny killed her husband early on and was ready to read how. Yeah, again, brilliant writing. I was also sure that she killed him. I was at some point I thought she killed her daughter. Um, and I was like, how did she kill him on purpose? How did she plan two murders, and why? Like, what happened? But then she was talking about how uh, the mother-in-law did it for her son, and she kept writing letters to the husband. So I was still kind of like, maybe he did just leave her, maybe she didn't kill him. I was still not sure. um but then, yeah, she did, but not murder, just accident. But yeah, and obviously was invested in the turns. Obviously, that's why we read it. I think I'll give intrigue 9.5. I think. Okay, should we move on to logic? I love that weird detail of her being so determined to deliver the jerseys or whatever the lady driving the other car had in her trunk. Yeah, oh my gosh, that was so weird. Like, what did she do to her? How did she kill the woman? I found that so strange. That was not really explained. It was like she was just trying to pull her out of the car and she basically pulled her in half. Like, what? How? But yeah, like the brain in shock was like, yeah, she found the jerseys so important, so I need to get the jerseys. That was amazing and weird and like, yeah, so specific and so powerful. Yes, definitely. Like I this book was done so well, so many different things put together without any effort. Oh, loved it. Loved it. Logic. Did we have logic? Oh, sunshine. Okay. I'm not gonna move anymore. Um, but it's not focusing on me when I'm like that. There we go. Um, I took it was just moving her when she shouldn't have, like someone being impaled and how you're not supposed to pull out the object. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Or she was stuck somewhere and she just kept pulling her, but I can't imagine her being that strong. So I don't know. I don't know. And her husband making sure he was okay when he was laying there dying. Oh, pain. Yeah, she was okay. Making sure she was okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was so sweet. And in the end, how he said like, "Yeah, she's alive. Good, help her. Good girl." Oh, that was so sweet. He cared for her so much because the entire book I thought like, yeah, he left her. He couldn't anymore take that she was leaving him all the time, and he couldn't take it anymore, so he left her. Um, but no, he didn't. He didn't. And then also, I find it a thing in books recently, and I don't know if it bothers me, but it makes me very curious. Uh, People whose children died, they break up or get divorced, and I'm wondering why. Why can't we have a couple who loses a child and is there for each other and it doesn't break them up? It seemed like it worked with the Franny and Niall, but not for long because she killed him. I don't know why that was funny. Sorry, that was not funny at all. But it's just in last couple books. Here it was also mentioned in the previous book. It was a big part of the book, and it's just like, why? I don't know. Why can't we have a couple that is strong? I ended up actually liking the relationship despite the dubious beginnings. Yes, yeah, I had very big doubts in the beginning as well. Like, what are they doing? But in the end, they were great for each other. I think they so impulsively got married, but they really did care for each other. They did absolutely. It was great. Loved it. Oh, I've heard that it's a really high percentage. I think I learned that from Broadchurch. Really, I found it crazy. I can't imagine that. But hey, you don't know until you experience it. So hope I never do. But yeah. All right. Logic. I think logic was great. Um, I didn't find any flaws whatsoever with logic. Um, I'm just trying to think of anything logical or illogical there. Um, it was just so strongly character driven, and how are you gonna and so well written because okay, you can question the characters' actions, and that could be part of logic, but here the characters made sense. I can't find anything. I guess if the way each person grieves is too different, they end up at odds over it. Yeah, could be that they have different. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It just makes me so sad. Like I can't imagine that. Like my boyfriend is the person I care about the most in the entire world, and who I know cares about me the most in the entire world. Like there is no one else I would ever go to with any kind of soul hurt. Only him. So to think that in a time like that, I wouldn't go to him for support, and like I can't imagine that. But hey, I don't know. Yeah, it was a sadly believable destruction of the world. Yeah, yeah, it was. And I kind of liked when the ship started running out of fuel and supplies and such, because that doesn't always come up in fantasy books. That's true. Yeah. And yeah, how the food was also described, that it wasn't always like a great supply of food, and they had to restock, and how it was an issue. That is true. Yeah. Like if one person needs to wallow in it and be on their own, and the other person needs to go about life and distract themselves, and the two people resent each other for their process, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, like they don't understand the way the other one goes through it or deals with it. They think that they don't care or something. Yeah, I understand. Like I understand how it could be dividing, that you kind of need each other, but you don't understand each other because you both are going through such a horrible thing, so you don't have the energy to care for the other. mm, I guess. Very sad though. Oh, my boyfriend and I don't go out much, do things, and we just sit around and have really good chats about life, so I get that too. Yeah, like I don't have great relationship with my family, and my best friend is in a country 2,000 kilometers away from here, so I have only my boyfriend, and even if I didn't, it's still him, and yeah, I just can't imagine. The food and restocking is usually what pisses me off, logic wise, in books. Just conveniently having a healer or being able to heal with magic. Yeah, I absolutely understand, or agree. I absolutely agree. There didn't seem to be anything here that didn't make sense to me, or that was lacking, or that just came in unnaturally or forcefully. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Psychology really is fascinating. Yeah, it is. It is fascinating. I wanted to go study psychology when I was in high school, but then I knew it would be too much studying, and I was not good at remembering things like that. So then I went to engineering instead, where you just understand things. That works fine. But yeah, so logic, I'm going to give. I think the logic worked perfectly fine. I don't know why I wouldn't give it a 10. So it's gonna get a 10. And now enjoyment. Last category, enjoyment. So how did you enjoy the book? The overall message, the experience, um, the rating overall? That's a question. Wait, I want to read your comment. I had a really good psych teacher in high school, but I'm glad I didn't go into that field. Yeah, we didn't have a psychology in high school. We had social science, but not psychology per se. We never studied psychology, but I was always interested in it. And I am also glad I didn't go into psychology, because getting older, I struggle more and more with my own psychology, let alone try to help other people deal with theirs. I don't think I could do that, even though if I studied that, it would probably be a very different process and I would be somewhere completely else in my life. But still, I mean, yeah, high enjoyment. I think I gave it just 4 stars, but it just felt right to me. I just get like God rating feelings. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I do the gut rating feelings as well. I'm not very objective when it comes to this, and how can I? I didn't study it. I just rate it by what I thought. I was thinking also like 4.5 stars when I finished it, because there was something that just might escape me a little bit. It felt, or what I think could have taken the half star away from for me from the book, is that it kind of felt like a fever dream, and that I tend to forget. So I'm worried I will forget this book, but I loved it so much, so I'm not sure. Um, but I enjoyed it so much. I would give enjoyment, I think, a 10. Oh, oh, hello. Okay, if I do 9.5, if I do 9, okay, okay. We've got a 5 star here, apparently. Could be. Same. I'm also too empathic for that. I get upset when people I care about are upset. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I struggle a lot when my boyfriend is stressed. When he is stressed and he's not doing well mentally, which doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does, I struggle so much worse, or like so much harder. I don't know why. If it's because then he can't be there for me and I feel like I can't lean on him in that moment, if it's like very selfish like that, or if it's because I'm worried about him, or I don't know. But yeah, yeah. As always, apologies for my tapping. Many letters on my keyboard have worn off. No worries at all. It's completely fine. And great. I was so into it that I think I read it too fast. I actually started, I think, on Monday, and last night I got to page 130. So today I read 130 pages. Like today I read half of it, because the first, yeah, I was just too tired during the week to read, and um, we're playing this game that we are just addicted to at the moment. So I was more pulled towards that than reading. But you know, when I got to it today, like I need to read it, just swallowed it. Same for me and boyfriend. And I think like, oh my god, am I doing the right thing for him? Because he's always so good when I'm anxious. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same. Because he's just there when I don't feel good. And it's just so comforting. And then when he's not feeling good, I'm supposed to be there for him. But then I'm freaking out because what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So, yeah. But it also depends on how I'm doing. If I'm doing fine that day, then I am able to be there for him, and I support him and everything. And I think that works. But then when I sometimes don't feel good and he doesn't feel good, then that makes me spiral. So it's my problem, obviously. It's not like a whole issue, but it's something I need to work on. Yeah, I think I read it in 2 or 3 chunks. Yeah, it was pretty short. Must have similar relationships. Sounds like it. Yeah. um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that rare to have a relationship like this. I did think it was rare, but I don't think so anymore. Um, because I am very anxious and very, um, want to do all kinds of things, but don't know what to do first. My mind never stops. And he's just sitting there watching his football. And that's what his brain is doing. And he's incredibly calm and patient, and I just don't get it. And he's complete opposite of my parents, so that's what I was looking for, and it works. So, but I think there are more relationships like that where the woman is a bit more anxious and uh, worried about all these things, and the guy is just there uh, by her side, helping her get through it, whether mentally or actually helping with whatever it is. So yeah. Um, anyway, yes, that too is boyfriend. He evens me out. Bless him. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Um. Anyway, turns out this is a 5 star. I feel comfortable with that. I would say maybe it's like 4.5, but I feel comfortable giving this 5 star according to Copile. Um, it was brilliant. I loved it so much. I loved all the metaphors, all the onion peeling. If I want to see the notes, I did. Beautiful writing. Um, yeah, I wrote that it's like love letter to sea and to ocean, which I absolutely love ocean and I'm obsessed. So I very much appreciated that. Um, yeah, then I wrote, she has this really intimate relationship with the sea. It's beautiful and terrifying. That's true. I thought that that was true. Um, yeah, love how we got the backstory in little droplets. It's a bit depressive how she talks about death all the time, but understandable and relatable. uh, oh, yeah, and then I got one more very artistic thought. The book felt like slowly sinking in a stormy sea. That was probably in the first half of the book. Before we got more into the depth of what actually happened in the past, then it felt a bit more like we got a little bit more grounded. But yeah. Uh, oh yeah, question. Uh, if what does the mythical golden catch mean? Did you find something like some metaphor for it? Because Annis was looking for some mythical golden catch. What was that? Do we know? Um, yeah, and then I wrote that it beautifully portrayed how the climate restrictions can ruin some people's lives. And so, for example, when they banned the commercial fishing, that's something to celebrate, right? But we saw it from the point of view of the fishing crew and how it's gonna basically like completely change their lives and they need to figure out what to do next. And you just felt for them so much. So I loved also that touch that nothing is black and white, and how also the fishers were kind of happy when they didn't have to fish anymore because they felt sorry for the fish, kind of. I love that so much. Like it made them so, made these people who do the bad things more human, and again just reminds you that nothing is black and white. So love that as well. Yeah, I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad you loved it as well. um, I recommended it to Twin, and she read and loved it too. She said she's working now, hence her absence. Okay, nice. But glad she loved it too. Amazing. And she said she's currently reading the Wolves one and is enjoying that. Oh yeah, I need to get that. I need to get that one as well. I since it came out, I wanted it even before I read this one. I mean, obviously, since I just read it, but I meant like even before I knew that she wrote this one, and before I was interested in this one. That's what I meant to say. Look at you with the artsy notes, right? Like I'm not usually like these are usually not my thoughts. It just, the book made me think like that. Like, just think about it again, how the book was written to bring this in me. Like, loved it. Yes, the catch, maybe like the thing that will make your life's work efforts worthwhile. Yeah, I guess. But what was that for him? We never found out. If that was a metaphor for him in his life. And then, what did I want to say? Yeah, I loved when there was the discussion about meaning of life, and how they had back to back meaning of life by her husband explained, and then meaning of life by her, and then by Leah. And I thought that was brilliant, how it was like three different points of view, and all of them had a great point. Loved that. um I like too how the crew felt bad about what they were doing. Yeah, yeah, that was really nice. Wrote that as you were saying it. Yeah, it was a very human book overall. People are so complicated. Definitely, definitely. I love when that happens, when you stop reading for the day and the book starts to reframe your experience of the world. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was brilliant. I think that's good for the discussion. It's been 1.5 hours. For me, 5 stars. 4 5. Definitely gonna go into the top reads of the year, at least, if not of all time. Like, it was amazing. I loved it. Um, this. The more we talk about it, the more I realize how much I liked it. So much. It was so well done. Yeah, exactly. I feel exactly the same way. Like, the that we are talking about it now, and the more we are talking about it, the more I feel like it was so well written. So many things packed into so little. Like, how are you gonna write so much and so well into such a short book? Brilliant. Loved it. Now I'm wondering if I should bump it up to 4.5. You can sleep on it and see how you feel. Maybe. I just laugh that you are doing this book club. Thank you so much. I am happy there is at least one person who enjoys it, or who is happy for it, because yeah, that is something I care about. And I know there are people who don't really care about these things, and who feel like they, when they read, they want to escape, the real world. They don't want to read about real world problems. And I completely understand that, but there are millions other book clubs that are doing those kind of books. So I thought I just need to do what my heart tells me to do, and this is it. And even though if it's only the two of us, I think it's still worth it, and love it. So thank you for coming on the journey with me. Reminder for the next read we have is for May and June. So this month and next month. And the book is How to Avoid a Climate Disaster by Bill Gates. I feel this is going to be very controversial. I already found a video where they had an interview with Bill Gates, and I was laughing at how ridiculous it was. So this is going to be very fun, I think. And I'm going to post the video then as well, of course. Or, well, I will not post it, I will share the link to it. And we'll see when the live show for this will be, because July, I don't know the plans for July yet. So it won't be mid July. It might be very early beginning of July for this book. But I think that works fine. So this is our next read. Hopefully you'll be able to join me on that as well. If not, that's okay. I'll read it anyway. But yeah, very much interested in reading this one. I told you I love this. I'll be here every month. I like escapes too, but I also love hugging trees. Are we like the same person or something? Definitely worth it. You could always just DM me if you don't want to do the lives, or just in general, because you're a lovely human. I'd love to chat. Oh, thank you. No, I do want to do the lives. I want them to be out there. I want to have like a proper discussion and everything, because I did that before, that just like in messages, and it felt a little underwhelming, should I say? Not official. So I really like this live, that even people who will come later might be able to find it, even though this was very much conversation between you and me, even though I don't see you on the screen, but like you're chatting with me very much. So it is conversation between the two of us, but I still think that if other people have read the book, they would still be able to take something from this, especially this one today. I think was really like good, like what we talked about, I think was brilliant. So, or I don't want to, sound arrogant or anything, like I think this was brilliant, but I think we covered it really well and the book was amazing. So I think this was fun, and I like to have it up there. Ooh, rich people, I'm ready to be mad. Exactly. Love it. um yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I don't know, you gave Murder about 3 stars, but I forgive you. Okay, we're not the same person then. I think I can explain it to you, and I'm gonna explain it in the vlog that I will post. I will post all the vlogs. But I think what was the demise of the murder bot for me was that I read it right after I read The Long Way to Small Angry Planet, which were not similar in the, like, they were not the same, but they had kind of similar ideas, and I just absolutely loved the way The Long Way to Small Angry Planet was done. And then reading Murderbot, compared to that, I read it right after, was a little underwhelming compared to that one. But maybe if I read it like half a year later, without reading that amazing book first, maybe I would have had much better experience with it. So bad timing, I'm gonna say. I don't think it was a bad book per se, even though at that point I didn't love it that much, but I just think it wasn't a good timing for me. So uh, yeah, I like the lives too. You're very organized and I appreciate it. Organized? What do you mean? I'm not organized at all. Thank you though, but I'm not organized at all. I made 5 vlogs for April, only one is out, and it's almost mid-May. So no, but thank you. It was. You are good at running discussions. Thank you. I didn't think that at all, that I was. Oh no, that was definitely not good for Murderbot. No, not good for Murderbot at all. Poor Murderbot. The rereads made me love it. I think I initially gave it 4. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll reread it at some point. Maybe I'll give it the second try. I did that with the... Oh my gosh. I hope you don't love the book. If you do, you're gonna just log out and never talk to me again. Wayward Children. I read the first one last year, and I didn't love it. I gave it like 2 stars, and I was like, I'm not interested in the rest. Then I reread it this year. I listened to it actually on audiobook. The narration was great. So then I gave it, I think, 3 stars. And then I listened to 2 more, and then I gave up. I'm like, yeah, no, not for me. So, maybe just a different time. You tap the things you're prepared to discuss. That's definitely organization. Okay, I see. Yeah, I tapped, but obviously we didn't go through any of the taps. But oh, but yeah. And I wrote notes. And that's good, because I would have forgotten all my brilliant thoughts. That is like sinking a ship in a stormy sea, or like sinking in a stormy sea. Would have completely forgotten about it. Oh, that's serious, but I'm fine with different opinions. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, in general, I don't understand why people are mad when people don't love their books. The books that they love. Like, different mood, bad timing, different people like different things, whatnot, whatever. Just enjoy what you enjoy. That's a perfect description too. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that was for the stormy sea, right? Okay, but I think we can wrap it up here. 5 stars. We'll see. So this is for... I'll read these next month. So it's like, again, closer to the book club, so I don't forget all that much. So I think that's that. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Oop, oop. Unless you're saying like this is a garbage book and you're dumb if you love it. I don't know why would a different opinion offend me. Yeah, exactly. Like if I say it wasn't for me, I don't like this book, that doesn't mean I'm saying the book was horrible and you are stupid for liking it. Like that, yeah, I agree with you. Like as long as you are somewhat respectful, like you can completely, in my opinion, you can say you don't like the book. Like again, A Little Life, I absolutely loved it. It kind of makes me sad when people say it's a torture porn and it's a horrible book and it should never have been published. But at the same time, I'm, like I'm trying to think from their point of view, and I am happy for them. But you know, so that's fine. That's fine. But I absolutely agree with you there. Yes, I will stop talking. It's completely fine. Yeah, thank you very much for being. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being you. This is such a sweet comment. Thank you. But yeah, so thank you very much for joining me here. I'm so happy you enjoyed the book. I had amazing time with the book, honestly. And yeah, I will now go and play some game. But I will definitely talk to you soon. My Tuesday sprints are coming back, so I'll talk to you on Tuesday. If no video before that, we'll see. So thank you, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.